Happy International Women's Day. All right, I'm not going to do my normal type of testimony where I actually try to tell you facts and things like that. I'm just going to tell two stories. One is about my mother, how she passed, her death. It took my mother a couple of years to die. She was tough. She would not die. I appreciate that, by the way. But her death and how long it took is probably one of the most valuable experiences for me. My mother had a cancer that nobody else in the family knew she had except for me because I was the person who dealt with her health care. We had an occasion where my mother went through everything. She was in a coma for a long time. I even had the opportunity to be at the hospital where her systems were shutting down. The doctors told her she had a couple of days to live. But the most important thing that happened during the time that my mother died, and let me tell you, when that happened, it was a strange occurrence because she looked very normal. And I had to leave her with her telling me she didn't want to leave me, right? But the most important thing was I learned something about myself through my mother's death, because I got to spend some time with her, not because I got off from work, but because I chose to go at night and on the weekends and sacrifice other things to spend some time with my mother as she died. And I learned a little bit about who I am through her story. And I've told this story before about my mother and her name and how important her name was to her. My mother was named Araminta. She was named after her grandmother, who was Araminta, but her mother's name was Harriet. There's a woman named Harriet Tubman, whose original name is Araminta Ross. And so those names connect. And then my mother's death, one day I sat with my mother in a time that if I didn't have to struggle to be there, I wouldn't happen to have been there. And she told me about how she wished she had done the type of things with her life that I did, because the name Araminta and Harriet were important to her, and Harriet had done the work of going back to help people. And in that moment, when she told me that story, I struggled as a son to be able to say to my mother that she had done some really powerful things, including helping me to do the work that I do. But I later recognized that, like most people, I thought that a lot of what I am is because of the work I did, but it's because she had that story. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been there. And I almost wouldn't have been there because I don't have paid family leave. And so this is not just a women's issue, it's all of our issue. I want to talk about another thing that just happened. I just had two twins. I don't have paid family leave. Those twins came early. Spent time in the NICU. My son wouldn't eat unless I fed him. That's what this issue is about. It's not just about women. Yes, it is about them. It's about getting to spend time with those people in your life who are important. It's about learning stories about yourself when people are dying. It's about helping your son to eat. Stories about human beings, all of us. This state needs to pass this bill. I don't care which bill it is. Senate bill, House bill, I don't care. We need to pass this bill. People need that time. It's designed in such a way that a lot of the arguments people make just don't even hold water. I would implore this committee to pass this bill out, and I would implore you, whether you're Democrat or Republican, to do something. One of the most powerful things you could do for families. Support this bill. Thank you.
Okay.